Hello everybody, it's me, Colton Johnson with Empty Popcorn Bucket Productions. Before I begin, I just want to apologize for the lack of videos lately. It has been quite a busy month this month, plus there hasn't been a lot of new movies that I've seen in theaters, so there hasn't been a lot of videos to make. But that being said, this video is a video that I've been working on for a while, but has been a process completing due to my busy schedule. But here we are, and we are ready to dive right in. So today, I decided to review Back to the Future Part 2. I was really hoping to catch it in theaters a few weeks ago for its re-release, but unfortunately, I was unable to go. Luckily, I own it on digital, so I decided to do my own little marathon, and honestly, it's always fun revisiting these films. Before we actually jump into the future, let's take a quick trip to the past and talk about my first ever retro review. My all-time favorite movie, Back to the Future. If you haven't seen that video yet, go check it out. So, let's dive right into Back to the Future Part 2. This film picks up right where the first movie left off, where Marty and Doc zoom to 2015 to prevent Marty's future son from screwing up his family's life. Of course, nothing is ever that simple in a time travel movie, and after they think they've fixed the future, Marty discovers that Biff Tannen of the 2015 time stole the DeLorean and travels back to 1955 to give his younger self the sports almanac. This creates an alternate timeline where Biff becomes insanely rich and powerful, turning 1985 into a dystopian future. To set things back, Marty and Doc have to go all the way back to 1955 and make sure the events of the original film play out the same way, without causing any more disruptions. That's where things get really interesting. This movie builds off of the first one in a super clever way, where you got Marty and Doc trying to avoid their other counterparts. It's honestly one of my favorite moments of the film. Now, I'm gonna be honest, Back to the Future actually is my least favorite of the three. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's just not as good as the other two, in my opinion. It's just, there's a charm that the first one has and the third one has that this one I feel like sometimes over pushes itself. And I'm talking about the second act of the film, where it covers the alternate 1985. Though these scenes were necessary for the plot, it kind of slows the movie down a bit, and it feels like we're stuck in that version of Hill Valley for a little bit too long. That being said, there's a lot of fun about this movie. The future sequences are some of my favorite parts. Seeing 2015 through the eyes of 1989 is very interesting, with hoverboards, flying cars, self-lacing shoes. It's a lot of fun, and it's very interesting, especially having lived through 2015, and there's some things they got correct, and many things they didn't. Then there's the brilliant third act, like mentioned before, which, in my opinion, totally redeems any of the slow moments of the film. I love how Marty and Doc have to navigate around their past selves from the first movie while trying not to mess things up. It also adds this layer of tension that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Plus, the way the movie ends is honestly one of my favorite parts. That ending is perfect. We're back in 1955, and we get to see the moment where our original Marty goes back to the future. And then 1955 Doc is just standing there completely shocked. Then all of a sudden, current Marty shows up, and it sets the stage for the next film. And I remember when I first watched this, and I was like, man, this is crazy. And there's been some times where I feel like it would be very funny to start the first movie and skip to the third movie, because I don't know, I think that would be funny. Another thing I do appreciate about part 2 is how much more we get to see Biff Tannen's character. In the first movie, he's more of just the bully, but in this one, he's fleshed out a lot more, and we get to see different versions of Biff. Old Biff, young Biff, and of course, the rich and powerful Biff from the alternate 1985. He's much more than a dynamic character this time around, and that makes him way more interesting to watch. So, speaking of fun things to watch, it's crazy to also look back to 2015, almost 10 years ago, and how far things have come since then. We have smartwatches, video calls. We still don't have flying cars or hoverboards, but I think it's crazy to see the advancements in artificial intelligence as well as other technologies that have gone a long way. Overall, I love this trilogy, and it's one of my favorite film series of all time, right up there with The Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. There's just something special about the way these films blend action, humor, and heart. Watching them is always a fun experience, no matter how many times I've seen them. I still need to make a video covering Lord of the Rings as well as the original Star Wars trilogy. So when I have the time in the future, I'll definitely create those videos. I have something that I was originally going to do for this video, but due to time restraints, I will probably save that for next year when I cover Back to the Future Part 3. But thank you so much for taking a blast to the past with me to talk about Back to the Future Part 2. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Did you think that this movie has held up since it released? Or what's your favorite moment of the film? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. I also don't want to forget to mention that I used the Minecraft Universal Studios world on Minecraft, and I thought it was very fun. So if you want to see the version of this video where I just cover the ride, then please let me know. Also, check out my second channel, Disney Johnson Bros Adventures, where you'll find fun and exciting videos all about Disney. And I also have a video on this channel that I will post on Halloween, so stay tuned for that. And like mentioned, stay tuned for sometime next year, where I will eventually make a review for Back to the Future Part 3. It could happen sooner, but we'll see. Thanks again, and have a wonderful day. Bye!